everyone, welcome to my channel Megs Craftz, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the basics to resin. So I'll be showing you beginner tips and where I buy all my supplies, as well as tips if you've been doing resin for a while. I've been doing it for about a year and a half. And I'll also be making some resin gems. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more resin and craft videos, and my Etsy shop and Instagram will be in the description. And like this video if it helps you out. Let's get on into the video. So before I start with the supplies, I'm just going to talk about resin safety, because resin can you can get allergies to resin and it can hurt your lungs. So you need to make sure you're taking the right precautions. And make sure you research this before, but I basically use silicone mats and newspaper to cover my area, gloves, and I work in my laundry room, so I have a fan on, and I also open this window. Okay, so the resin I use is called art resin, and it comes in two different parts, and you mix equal amounts of them together. This is the other type of resin that I use. It's called UV resin, and it cures with a light. The difference between them is that epoxy resin is more for bigger projects, and UV resin, which is what I'm showing here, is more for smaller projects. I got the art resin, the epoxy resin, from Amazon, and I got my UV resin from eBay and from Michaels. These are the supplies that I use to mix the resin. I actually recently bought the mixing spoons. I got them from Amazon, and I also use plastic cups and silicone cups, and I'm not wasting the plastic cups because they can be reused many times. And these are the silicone ones I use. I usually, when I'm mixing a larger amount of resin, I use the silicone ones, and if it's smaller, I'll use the plastic ones. And here I'm showing that plastic with the number 5 on it, resin will always peel away from it, so you can reuse it. I also have these smaller mixing cups, which also came from Amazon. I'm now going to move on and show all of my molds. When you're first starting out with resin, you only need a couple molds, and you can experiment with those, but as you start making more, as you can see, I have a lot of molds, and I am continuing to buy molds. So the molds that are opaque, the resin will come out foggy, and the clear molds that I'm showing here are the ones you use with UV resin, because you can't use the opaque ones, and the resin will always come out shiny with them. When making resin, you'll also need a heat gun or a lighter. I recently just got this heat gun, and the heat pops the bubbles in the resin, making your resin clear. So to color my resin, I use these resin colorings from Resin Art, and I also use pigments. You can also use acrylic paint, that also works well in resin. And here I'm showing all the glitters and pigments that I use for resin, and I have a lot of them now, but start small and grow your supplies as you continue to make it. So here I'm just reorganizing my resin supplies because I didn't like how they were organized and left out on display. So I got this box organizer from the dollar store. So now I'm going to move on to the part where I actually make the resin and show you how I make it. So before I start, I like to prepare the glitters and pigments that I'm going to use. So here I'm just cutting up some of my fruit and butterfly canes. So then I'm going to mix my resin and the hardener. I mix equal parts of this, and I use these measuring spoons that I got from the dollar store to measure them. Once I've poured equal parts, I slowly mix the resin together for about 4 minutes. Also make sure you're wearing gloves when you do this part. Once my resin is fully mixed, and when it's mixed it will be more clear, so you'll know, I'm going to be making these gems today, so I'm adding some fake sprinkles and some glitter into this gem mold, and these will be keychains. So I just add my glitters and layer the resin till the mold is completely filled. Once the resin pieces are cured, another important part is to sand your resin pieces. So I got a big pack of sandpaper off of Amazon, and I wait until I have a lot of pieces. I'm also using this clip from my resin gummy bear video since I didn't film the gems. But I'm basically going to take a bit of water because this allows the dust to stick to the paper, not fly up in the air. I also wear a mask when I'm doing this step because you don't want to breathe in resin dust. And I always do this with all my pieces. They then get drilled, and then I add an eye pin. And here are the finished gems I made in the video. I sanded them, drilled them, and added the keychain and tassel on. These are also available on my Etsy shop if you want to purchase them, and I think they turned out really well. I'm next going to show some of the things I've made with resin. So here are all the coasters I've made. I have some flower coasters that I am working on, and lots of more of these will be made. I also have this ink coaster I made a while ago. This was like one of the first times I used alcohol ink. I also have this ocean coaster and a Lucky Charms coaster. And this is the box where I keep all my items that are like my best resin items. So here are some resin gems which are gonna be turned into necklace pendants. I also have some keychains. This is a dolphin that's color changing. And this is a sea foam whale that is listed on my Etsy. And I have some other little bits and pieces. I have my gummy bear keychains, some bottle necklaces which were made with UV resin, and I store it in this pink box. I also have these pieces which are like, they need to be sanded and finished off. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I put a lot of time into this video because there was a lot of parts to film, so I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube and check out my Instagram and Etsy shop down below. Thank you, bye!